Let's begin with that. And I mean, it's hot and heavy every single day in the NFL. Yep. So why do you think the immediate reaction yesterday from so many quarterback-needy teams across the league when they found out Lamar Jackson was getting the non-exclusive tag from Baltimore, why do you think the reaction was, nope, we don't want him?
You know, that to me it's all just about lies. I mean, I think you don't want to play your hand. I think that's pretty clear. Now, why you would publicly release that you're not interested? I mean, I didn't see enough of Desmond Ridder. Maybe Arthur Smith did to say I don't want a guy. Here's the thing that I would, if I'm Ryan Poles sitting in my office and I see Lamar Jackson's out there, I know Matthew Stafford's available. Uh-huh. I know Kirk Cousins, if you made the deal with Minnesota to take them off the hook of Kirk Cousins, you could probably get him too. Like, don't think these guys aren't available. If I had the first pick, I would be worried about a team going to get one of those veteran guys for the cheap as opposed to paying me 3 number ones to move up here to get an unproven commodity. So, like, I'm going to give up 3 number ones to move up for, let's say, Richardson when I could sign Lamar and pay 2 ones? Does that make any sense?
No.
So why would I say no? Why would I? It doesn't make any sense to me. And the 2 number ones, you end up getting a player. People confuse this. Lamar Jackson's for 2 ones, but you get the player. So really, you're only giving up 1 1. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to pick the player anyway. Like, you're not giving up a player. Yeah. You're getting a player back.
Yeah. So I mean, that was the instant reaction yesterday. But don't you think when these teams get together this week or next week, there's plenty of time here that they're going to actually think about this logically, and then some of their opinions could change, and we could hear about, Carolina now, they might have interest in Lamar Jackson, or Atlanta, like you said, could have. Don't you think this could flip here in the upcoming weeks?
I don't know how Carolina could have interest in Deshaun Watson, fly their whole contingent down there, be willing to spend all that money, and then say they're not interested in Lamar.
Bingo.
Like, it makes no sense. Like, every team that was interested in Deshaun Watson is interested in Lamar. They're just not going to say it. They don't want to get accused of losing out. Now, here's the issue. Lamar doesn't have an agent, so it's a little bit more of a tough terrain to navigate, right? And I still think the team in play here is Miami. He wants to play in Miami. He's made that abundantly clear to people that I know that know him, that have talked to him. And, he's from Pompano Beach. He played at Boynton Beach High School. He wants to play in Miami, and I'm sure he would do a discount deal. Now, let's forget about all this love we have for Tua, because you have to be concerned. And Josina Anderson reported the other day about how, there are some teams, that Miami is not completely committed. They're looking for a quarterback, which they should. I mean, how couldn't they? The guy, we don't know if he can stay healthy.
How
you put Lamar on that team. You put Lamar on with that team with Tyreek Hill and Waddle and those guys. Oh my gosh!
How tough is that and convoluted because they don't have a first-round pick this year, or is there ways around it?
That's the problem. I mean, there's ways around it because you don't you got to do a deal with Baltimore. What Baltimore's saying by putting that tag on Lamar is they're saying simply this: call us. We'll answer the phone. They're not saying they're going to trade him. They're saying call us, and then we can work out a deal. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be 2 number ones, because at the end of the day, you got to call their bluff. Do they want this guy or do they not want the guy?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the issue. So, if he wants to go to Miami and you offer 2 number ones, or you offer a 1 next year and a 1, you can make a deal with them. You don't have to follow the protocol of the deal.
Excellent answer. What happens with Rodgers now after the Jets met with him and Woody met with him all night?
I think he goes to the Jets. I think that they'll be willing to pay. Look, here's the issue. There's a lot of teams that want him, a lot of teams that want him, but a lot of teams don't want to pay $50 million. A lot of teams don't have $50 million to pay. And so I think that's the bigger issue is how do they handle that? How do you handle the money? And is he willing to do a deal? And if Woody's on that airplane out to California, then the Jets are serious. Look, the Jets are desperate. We know this.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets are desperate to do that. And so, they're going to have to do something. And I think they'll pay whatever it takes for them to get the deal.
Now, will they pay whatever it takes only if Rodgers tells them, I'm willing to give you more than 1 year? Or do they kind of go into this with the unknown because they are so desperate?
Well, here's how it's going to play out. They're going to give up a 1. That's going to be the first part. Then there's going to be another trade built into the trade. If he plays another year, you give me a 3. If he plays more, you're giving me more. It's all predicated on that. You can't predict the future. but you can set it up so that if he plays next year, if he plays 2 years, you owe us a 2 that year he plays. You set up the deal. That's how Green Bay is going to set up the deal. Green Bay knows they can't ask for 3 number ones automatically because they're not sure if the guy's going to play or not.
What were you hearing this past weekend on the relationship between Rodgers and Green Bay?
Oh, I think it's over. I think Green Bay's had enough. I think Green Bay wants to get on with Jordan Love. I think it's clear. What I heard over the weekend was Rodgers is playing, obviously. Woody wouldn't be on an airplane flying to see him if he wasn't. Hey, I love how people say, well, he hasn't made his decision yet. Seriously? What are they doing on the airplane? So why would you fly all the way across the country if he hasn't made his decision yet? That's A. And then B, I think ultimately, he wants to play, and Green Bay doesn't really want him. They want to get out from the contract. There's a lot of teams in the league that want to get out from their quarterback contract. The Rams, the Vikings,
okay. They
want to get away from the contract. They're begging. I mean, the Rams are begging people to take Stafford. They're begging people to take because they owe him $57 million. There's a report out today he's not healthy. Of course that's right. Of course he's not 100% healthy, but he's going to get that money whether he's healthy or not because those guarantees are for skill and injury.
Can you explain a little bit here what's going on behind the scenes with what you just said, the Rams and Stafford, and kind of like how the Rams would absolutely answer the phone if somebody were to call?
Well, the Rams are actually calling.
Oh, they are calling.
They're not even answering. They're calling. They're saying, "Hey, would you do it?" They'll pay some of the freight. So he has an option bonus that's worth $26 million. He picks up that option. When you pick up that option, now that guaranteed contract, his salary is guaranteed the following year. That's $31 million. That's $31 million. So that's $57 million. You can't get away from. You cannot get away from that $37 million. It's over.
You're locked into it no matter what.
You're locked into it no matter what. How do you pay that? Now, if you're Carolina, let's play the game. Say you're Carolina, and you want to get that deal. Then all of a sudden, you take the deal, and you take the deal, and you got a quarterback for 2 years at 57, if that's what you want. But now, can he stay healthy?
That's a big if, right? You also got into this too Monday. So if I trade for Ramsey, he's going to want a new deal. I have to redo the Ramsey deal too.
You definitely got to redo the Ramsey's not going anywhere without a new deal.
Okay.
None of these players go anywhere without a new deal. They don't want they want a deal. And part of it is even though he's making $17 million, he wants a new contract. So if you're Dallas and you want to trade for him, you got to get the deal done first. Look, the Rams are home.
Did we lose him?
Damn. Oh, it's good. Okay, good.
We'll see if we can get him back.
Last question was going to be about Henry. I mean,
I'm right here.
Oh, you're there.
Okay, but we lost you. Go ahead. You were talking about Ramsey.
Ramsey, if you don't redo the deal, you're not getting him. He's not going to go. He's not going to show up. He wants to go to certain places, and he's telling people he'll go, but but that's what happens now. Players this time of the year tell teams what they want to hear, and then they tell them, oh, by the way, you got to redo my deal.
Okay. So is there a chance the Rams could be saying adios to all these guys? Stafford, Ramsey. Could Donald be on the move? What about Kupp?
I haven't heard Donald or Kupp. The only two names I've heard are Donald and Kupp.
Okay.
The only two names I've heard are Donald or Kupp.
What's the market for Henry? What could Tennessee get for Henry?
I don't. You got to go committed to. You have to be completely committed to that offense. You have to be completely committed to that offense. And I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can do that because I think that's the issue.
Even if a team like the Bengals were to have interest in Henry.
Yeah, I mean, now that could make sense. The Bengals could make sense, but then, the Bengals are an 11 personnel team. They're in one back, three receivers, and that back's got to be in protection. That's not what Henry wants to get the ball and be fed the ball 30 times. You think Zach Taylor's calling 30 runs?
No way.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Zach Taylor's playing a video game. He's not calling 30 runs.
Yeah. Excellent job, my friend. Thanks for jumping on. Don't check any bags, by the way.
No, I'm in a car driving across the country. Don't worry, I got you.
Okay, smooth move.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.